Welcome back, viewers. Today we will be testing the TTM squeeze indicator.
But before we do, if you have not watched my first video and the videos after that, you need to go do that right now. Here at the Academy of Forex, we are building the best trading system possible as a team, and as a team, we will all profit from it when we are done. You can find a link to the first video down in the description below. You can also find a link to our Discord server, so that way we can all discuss testing indicators and building our trading system. And lastly, you can find a link below to TradingView. If you sign up for a paid account, you will save a little bit of money using the link below.
Alright, as I said, today we will be testing the TTM squeeze indicator. But before we do, I wanted to put the indicator scoreboard up for everyone to see. So to date, we have tested 93 indicators. And out of those 93 indicators, we have found 31 that have been winners, which means that they have met or exceeded the 60% win-loss ratio threshold that we have set for them. The best ones so far were able to achieve a 100% win rate. Now you need to go back and watch those videos to understand the context of how they were able to achieve that. But as we are working on building the best trading system possible, you can take any one of those 31 indicators and get out there and start potentially profitably trading the markets with them now. So go back, watch those videos, make a list of those indicators, and get out there and see what you can do with them. Let's stick with this here as we work on maximizing your trading profits. Alright, as I said, today's indicator is the TTM squeeze indicator. This particular one was a TradingView member created indicator, and so I will put a link to it below in the description. Setup is pretty easy. You have basically a histogram here plotted with a zero line. Then you have these dots that are running down the zero line. And so the theory here is that it's kind of a twofold system. What we are looking for is we are looking for a break of the zero line, either up or down. And then we are waiting for confirmation when the dots are green and not red. And so let me see if I can scroll back in. Here we go. So here's an example where it broke down below. The dots were red, indicating that it was a ranging market and not a trending market. And so therefore we would not have taken that trade. We would have wrote it out, wrote it out, wrote it out. And then the same deal here. It broke up to the upside, but the dots were still red, and we would have waited to take this trade until the dots turned green. Now, sometimes with indicators like this, we might make a rule that says, so for example, right here to the upside, you can see that the histogram bars here are a light blue. And so we might say that the bars have to be light blue and they have to be green and above the zero line for us to take a trade. Same way in the reverse side here, they are a light gray, and so it would have to be below the zero line. The bars would have to be light gray, and the dots would have to turn green. And so that would keep us from taking a trade too late in the signal. And then sometimes, you know, you could make a rule that says, well, once the zero line is crossed, you can only take a trade if it's within like 4 bars, or, you know, after the 0 line, something along those lines, right? And so that's an example of sometimes how you can kind of tweak, a condition to better help keep you out of bad trades. But for the time being, how we're going to test this one is just a simple, we're going to look for a break either up for a long, and when the dots are green to confirm that, or a break down below for a short when the dots are green to also confirm that. I don't think we're going to worry about adding any other condition to it at this time. Let's get to testing it here. I'm going to play around with some price action here. I'm going to try to do this, in each video now. And that's because I feel like price action should definitely be incorporated in your trading mentality. If it isn't a defining entry signal, then it should definitely be a confirmation, as I've said in the last couple of videos. And so I feel like it's best if we just keep practicing this over and over and over, and so that way you get better suited, better eyes for noticing price action and different patterns and so on. So all right, we are in a hard push up here, and it is plugging along here. We see here did a slight pullback right there. Didn't quite give us an exhaustion pattern yet. You can see though up here that if we look back, this area is quite significant as price action has hit it a few times. Each time it has hit it, it's had a reaction and rejected that area. Now that doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily do it again. We wouldn't trade it solely on hitting this area and starting to reject it. We would need some kind of extra confirmation for that first, but you can already see as it's getting close to this area, we're starting to get these long wicks to the upside here. And so something seems to be occurring. Boom, 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 broke. All right, there we go. You see it broke through that area. It came back down. And of course, this is a zone. It's not necessarily an exact line. And so we could say the top of those, wicks, could be, also valid. But it came down. It hit that area, started to push its way back down. It definitely gave us this big giant candle right here. Didn't necessarily give us any kind of real confirmation pattern. We would have liked to see it push up, reject that area, try to do a slight pullback into that area, and then continue down first, whether it be a double top or a cup and handle or a head and shoulders pattern. But it didn't, and so it's one of those where it's kind of a 50-50 guess at this point, whether or not it's going to continue down. I mean, all things, considered here, looks like it might definitely do that. We're getting weakness in the indicator here. You can see the divergence that took place in the indicator. You can see that there was a hard rejection of that area with this huge drop here. But it may have already exhausted the move, and sometimes we see this and then it tries to bounce right back up, and so definitely a sketchy scenario there. Not one that I would wholeheartedly trust. But then shortly after, we do get our first signal from our indicator. Let's see here. There. Let's see if we hit 60 pips. We did. And so there you go. That's an instance where, our indicator gave us a signal right after, we notice a hard rejection and all these other confirmations, kind of setting it up. Whether or not it's going to continue to push down, we're not really sure yet. So let's watch it here for a minute and see what it does. Nope, it's trying to make a rebound move there, hard rebound. It's kind of bouncing along here. And these are the hardest price actions to read here because we have not had a real, I mean, over here you can see a real hard push up. You know, it's definitely after that long push, we're going to get some exhaustion at some point. We see cycles push up, slight retrace, a push up, slight retrace, a push up, and starting to reject that area. Here we didn't get quite that hard of a push, and so it hit this area and tried to bounce really hard back up, but was rejected. But it's hard to know what it's going to do here. It may come down and hit this area and then decide to try to take back off this way. It may come down and break through and then continue with a decent hard downtrend. And so it's not really clear yet what exactly it's going to do. It seems to be rejecting this area again. Again, that's not, you know, a definite pattern set up here, but it's trying to do something. All right, there we go. We kind of got a cup and handle type pattern forming here. Again, nothing set in stone. All right, so there we go. Now we got a cup and handle. Here's one of those instances where we didn't get a strong downtrend, and so we didn't get that cycle that typically creates an exhaustion of a move before it makes a hard move back in the other direction. And so this is again where you would set conditions. Did it meet the condition where it had at least 3 or more cycles in this downtrend? I would say no, because it did this. This technically wasn't a pullback. That was almost the start of a new trend. Then it did this, which was basically 1 and a pullback and 2. So we really didn't get a strong confirmation there. We do see here that we are getting divergence in our indicator, and so that could be a plus. Looking at all things and going, well, yeah, we didn't get a full cycle, but that really, you know, don't undermine, don't downplay this, you know, the reading of cycles like this. When we get a hard move and there's lots of exhaustion after a hard move, people see that and they take advantage of it and everybody pushes it down. In an area like this, we haven't had that hard move, and so you have some people who are going, you know, no, it's you know, not going to go back up, it's going to go down, and so they may take a short in it. And then you have some people who say, oh no, there's a cup and handle forming here at a point of support, and so it's definitely going to move its way back up. But you end up with these two contrasting points of view that can make moves hard to follow through with, and that's where you want to avoid. You know, you want to go with the flow. You want to go with the flow of the market and not fighting it. So let's see what's going to happen here. If I had to guess, I would say this is going to try to push back up here. I don't know how far it's going to get. It may only hit this area right here, because again, there's not a whole lot of conviction behind this move right here, but we'll see. Let's play it out. Could be wrong. Yep, see, tried to make a little push right there, but there just wasn't enough people behind it who could all say this is definitely a new trend forming here. And so you know, with that lack of conviction there, we got a weak little move up, rejection of that area, and then it broke back down. And since it did reject this area again, I'm going to say that we are most likely going to start to see a downtrend start to form at this point. It broke below the support level. Let's see if it comes back up and touches it. Sometimes it'll do that, but I'm going to say, you know, since we didn't have a good relief move from this one over here that we're probably going to see a push downward. Not sure how far it'll go, but if I had to guess, that's what I would say. There, so it's testing that. You can see it's bouncing back and forth on this area. And again, this is just, it's, lack of conviction at this point. You have two groups of people who are both saying different things. One saying it's going to go up, one saying it's going to go down, and they're just battling each other back and forth right here. And you want to stay out of these areas. Those are the bad areas. There's, real no defined direction at this point. It's just kind of sloppily bouncing around. So see, it keeps really trying to push down. Those sellers keep really trying to push it, but it just can't quite make it. I mean, they push it down a little bit and then shove it back up. Push it down a little bit, shove it back up. And so even though I wouldn't consider these to be real cycles, I mean, these are almost mini micro trends forming here. I'm going to say that it keeps rejecting this area really hard, and there's been enough downward movement that we're probably going to start to see something try to push its way back up into this area or further. If I had to guess, I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't definitely take a trade on this, but if I had to guess, that's possibly where it's headed. Oh, there you go. And that's why you need these confirmations, because there's just so much uncertainty. Finally got that push, that strong push down. Yeah, we'll play it out here a little bit longer. Let's see, we did end up with a signal from our indicator here. Unfortunately, it turned around and shoved itself right back down in there. Boom, boom, boom. And then it hit a solid downtrend right there. That one would have been a winner. And you see, again, we broke this zone right here, right in this area, and it was only two more candles that we got confirmation from our indicator saying that this was a strong move downward. It didn't have the red dots, it had the green dots, and so it was definitely trying to give us a signal that we need to go short. And so you see over here, wasn't quite happening the same way. When it broke above, it was doing it on weakness according to the indicator here. So all right, let's play it forward here some and see what happens. And see, now we've had a lot of movement downwards at this point. We've had this really strong push right here. It's starting to form a head and shoulders right here. Don't know if it's going to form this other side right here. We'll play it out a little bit and see what happens. It's kind of a head and shoulders. This came down pretty far. There's no exact, I'm sure there's probably some equations behind it. If you asked, the head and shoulder, expert on how this should set up, but it definitely came down, swiping motion back upwards, pushing hard up, came back down, didn't quite make a lower low here, and so we're probably going to start to see some pressure trying to push it back upwards. Our indicator is starting to give us that hint as well. There we go. It broke that area right there, the neckline of the head and shoulders, and then it's going to try to shoot back upwards. Probably have some interaction with this area because it has a few times, but most likely we'll make it up into this zone. No guarantees, but that's, very close to you know, really good price action pattern, and kind of getting confirmation from our indicator here. I don't like that the dots are showing weakness, but let's see what happens. All right, so it broke the indicator here, broke up above, but it's doing it on weakness, and so that's not a great sign that this move is going to push you know, really strongly up. But let's see. Yeah, see, it's kind of waffling at this point, hitting that. And there we go. It finally was able to make a move. You know, we would have gotten a win on here. Let's see if head and shoulders pattern right there. If we had had the inner, had the order set to inner right breaking the neckline, we would have been there, and we'd have got a winning trade out of it. And so it didn't come down. It definitely made it up, and so, you know, not horrible. We didn't have great confirmation from our indicator, but let's see what it does now. You see, in this case, our indicator was you know, kind of late to the party there. Yep. You see, bam, it took a losing trade there, late to the party, smashed down below with our indicator giving us a strong signal here that that's on some good momentum. It is kind of sketchy that it's right here at this zone and hasn't really fully broke it yet. I mean, kind of has, but kind of hasn't. You see back here where it rejected that area, but our indicator is giving sign of strength. It broke down fast and quick with a strong move down, and so not really a great price action pattern to accompany it, but you know, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt, see what happens. Yeah, there we go. So a good good move down. There we go. All right. So, all right, I'm going to stop playing with price action now because, again, as I've said, it gets so long reading price action, and so there's just so many, you know, stops and things to explain along the way. And so I'm going to go ahead and play this out and get us closer to the end of the year, and then I'll jump back on. We'll calculate these, add up these signals, and see if we have another winning indicator or not. All right, we are at the end of the year now. Let's see here. Let's back out on this a little bit here. Let's add them up and see what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We got 10 signals all together there. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Man, that is right on the money, isn't it? 60% right there. So, yeah, all in all, not a bad indicator. I like the fact that it has like a choppiness filter built into it. It seems to do that really well, actually. I'd say if anything, man, that ranging market filter is yeah, that's a good thing. That's really strong to have a range indicator like that. And so yeah, it's going to go on the yes list for now. It's not a bad indicator at all. Like I said, if anything, it definitely has at least one component that we can really use in our trading. And so, yeah, like I said, going on the yes list from here, and we'll move on to the next indicator from here.
If you have not already, like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell notification so that way you are notified anytime I post a new video. As part of the team, it's important that you are seeing the new videos as they come out so you know what it is that we are discussing and what indicators we are testing, have tested, and have not tested. Also, like usual, there is a link below in the description to the Discord server. You can join us on Discord so that way we can further discuss the indicators and have discussions as we move forward building our trading system. And lastly, like usual, there is a link below to TradingView. If you like what you see whenever I use TradingView and you are interested in signing up for TradingView, if you use the link below and sign up for a paid account, you will save a little bit of money. So, alright everybody, I will see you